Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all doing well during this COVID season and you taking amazing care. Today I want to focus on a topic that has come up multiple times in my household that I feel like a lot of families are also thinking through, and that is, will I ever move back to Ghana? The answer is absolutely yes. Why would I want to live in the US forever? I absolutely would consider moving back to Ghana. But I think the real question here is not if I want to move to Ghana, it's how I'm going to make that move to Ghana and when. So like any huge decision that you make, this decision to move back requires a lot of thought and a lot of strategic planning, right? You can't just up and leave and move to another country and not think through the process. Unless you're going to vacation, certainly you can do that without thinking. But if you are going to move, you really have to go through a couple of steps to ensure that your move back is going to be smooth and painless. There will be some challenges that you will face, like anything else. It will come with its own set of challenges. But I think being in that place where you are prepared will place you at a place where you are in a better situation than somebody who just ups and leaves. So I'm going to go through the 5 steps that I have created for myself to help me, my family, reason through this process and see if this is something we can do in the timeline that we have set for ourselves. So we're going to visit the how. How are we going to make this move and ensure that it doesn't, affect our children or affect us? Because the reality is, even though I was born in Ghana and I lived in Ghana for years, I've been outside the country for years. I moved to the US when I was a teenager, and I've been here for almost 20 years. And so there are a lot of challenges that I will face when I move back to Ghana. So it's important that I prepare myself extremely well. You may not be 100% prepared, but some kind of preparation is better than none. Okay, so number 1, we have to mentally prepare ourselves. There has to be a mental shift. These are 2 very different countries. Again, I've lived in the US for years, and so the certain ways that things are done in the US are extremely different from the ways they're done in Ghana. And so I have to mentally prepare myself for these differences so that when you move back, you're not completely taken aback, you're not completely shocked, you're not to a point where frustration begins to set in and you almost want to pick up and come back here. I have to mentally prepare myself and tell myself it's going to be different. There is a lot of, let's go through some of the differences. Traffic, right? If you live in Ghana, you know how much traffic you have to deal with during the day. In the US, on a Saturday, I can make a list of 6 items that I want to get done for the day, and I just step out in my car and just go running errands, and I get all 6 things done. This may not be possible in Ghana because you have to deal with traffic, and it's something that is out of your control, okay? And so a 6 errand job becomes just 1 item that can get done for the day. And this can be very frustrating. For the people living in Ghana, it may not seem like it's a big deal, but in the US, the pace is really fast. Extremely fast. Everybody's just going and moving and things are getting done. And so when you find yourself in a situation where you go in and you're trying to find land you're trying to register your land and it takes up to a year or two to get the papers, the documents for your land. It can be a really frustrating process. And so these are some of the things the family and I have to really consider and mentally shift, okay? It's a mental shift that we have to do to ensure that, going back is not miserable. Also, when I talk about having a mental shift, it is essentially telling yourself that I am not living in the US anymore. I live in Ghana, and this is how things work. Because if you take the Western mentality and you take it back to Ghana, and everything that happens, you say, well, in the US, we do this. I don't think that's going to work. It's important that you move to Ghana and prepare your mind and say, listen, I am living in Ghana and things are going to be done. I would have to accept that things are done differently from where I came from. You cannot go telling people, well, in the US there are rules, and in the US there are laws, and in the US there's this. It's not going to work, and you are just going to frustrate yourself, and it's not going to be easy for you to live there. The other step we want to consider is saving money. Now, what I know is living in Ghana is not cheap. It is not cheap at all. And don't forget, I have lived in Ghana before. I have visited Ghana multiple times since I've lived here in the US. And so I know how fast money goes. Yes, money goes fast in the US, but it goes a lot faster in Ghana. So you don't want to up and move to a different country and not have a solid plan in terms of savings. That is where the when becomes a factor, right? When do you want to up and leave? When do you want to go to Ghana? Whichever country you choose to go to, when do you want to go? And does that allow you enough time to save money? It's important that you allow yourself enough time to save, because it's not a matter of you get to Ghana a year later, you run out of funds, and then you want to pick back up and move to wherever you came from. Especially if you move in with kids, it's not going to be as easy to do that. And so you want to make sure you have a solid plan to begin with. If you are working and you have an opportunity to participate in like a 401k program, I would absolutely suggest you do that, right? Because your employer matches whatever contribution you put into your savings, and that is free money. You cannot go wrong with that. You cannot go wrong with free money. And so if you say, okay, I'm gonna move to Ghana in 10 years, that is 10 years of money that you can put aside, and then each dollar you put aside, your employer matches it. And so at the end of the day, you get some free money, okay? I will also suggest, and these are things that I'm telling myself, open another bank account where you put some dollars away. That's money you're not touching at all. And then you can put that on the side. And in that 10 years or 5 years that you have stated you're going to go back, you will have some money. So I think it is key that you save money, because things are not cheap. Cost of living is pretty high. And so you want to allow for that. The other thing that we are considering is work. Are you going to go back to Ghana or whichever country you're looking to move to and join the workforce? Or are you going to go back and start your own business? I think this is extremely key, and you want to make sure that you address that situation before you get there. So I am going to make sure I address that situation before I get to Ghana. Now, my plan is I probably am not going to join the workforce. And the main reason being, I am very much aware how tough it is to get a job in Ghana. You have a lot of people who have graduated from college and are still waiting to find a job. So imagine when you have people coming into the country and trying to go in for the same jobs that you have individuals that have graduated for years waiting for. It's not really ideal. I'm not saying you can't find a job. You can absolutely find a job. You can have a job here in the US that might not mind having you working from Ghana and you still be on a dollar salary. Great. But going to find a job, going to join the workforce may not necessarily be ideal. And so what my family and I are looking to do is possibly start a business, right? And if we are going to start the business, it's important we start the business before the when are we moving to Ghana happens, right? You don't want to move to Ghana and then start the business. I'm not saying it's not going to work. It's going to be a lot harder. However, if you start that process before you get to Ghana, you've already established yourself, you've established your brand, and so it makes things a lot easier for you. Now, the reason why I would choose to start my own business is after being out of the country for this long, when I go back to Ghana, my goal is really to contribute to the country and not take away from the country, right? And so if my way of giving back to the country is starting a business that employs people and put food on their table, and not just on their table, but the table of their families, then I have given back to the country. And I think that is the best way that I deem it best to go back to the country. Again, I'm not saying you cannot go and find a job. This is my view on what I think will be best for me and my family. I think that going back with a business created will be the most ideal, because then I get to employ, I get to give back in some way. Okay? The other thing I would consider as I plan to move back to Ghana would be accommodation. Are you going to rent or are you going to buy? That is absolutely up to you. But that is something that is something I am definitely considering. Are we going to rent or are we going to buy? I definitely think building is cheaper. Renting or buying is convenient, right? Because for a lot of people, when they don't have much time to plan moving, they just want to find a place to live. However, if your rent allows for you or allows for enough time for you to make all these plans, then you can buy yourself a land and possibly build. I feel like you will save a lot of money that way. And more importantly, you know the materials that are being used to build your house. A lot of these houses that are already built, you don't necessarily know the materials that were used unless you know the individual selling the house and you trust them. But if you don't know who it is, you can't guarantee you getting a product that will last you for a long time, or you can't guarantee if you have to do repairs 2 or 3 years or months down the line, right? And so if you build yourself, you are aware that, okay, I put in this much, I bought the best materials, and so I have a property that's going to last me for a long time to come. Again, that is absolutely a decision that you and your family have to make. You have to decide, are we renting? Renting houses are not cheap either. It's definitely going to add to your monthly cost if you move to Ghana, you don't already have a property. So definitely consider that. But yeah, building will probably be my choice. And if that's the case, then I definitely have to plan for it. And the final thing I will probably consider doing is probably start taking good care of myself. I'm not saying the US has the best healthcare, but healthcare is readily available to you, right? That might not be the case in Ghana. When I lived in Ghana, I didn't really go to the hospital that much, so I can't really speak to the healthcare system, but healthcare is definitely one of the top priorities, right? I am moving back if I do with children, and so I want to make sure I have that benefit at my disposal. And that may not always be the case. And so one of my focuses will be to get myself into a very healthy state so that when I move back to Ghana, I am not at risk of having to, go to the hospital every now and then. And that is going to require me to eat well, get myself back into the gym, take my vitamins, and just get myself in a place where I am healthy enough where when I move back, I'm not having to see the doctor every 2 to 3 months. Because the other thing you need to remember is healthcare is not cheap either, and you don't want to spend all your money having to go to the hospital after moving back to Ghana. When you move back to Ghana, at least my goal is to enjoy life, right? Because you worked extremely hard out here, wherever you may find yourself in the Western world, and you want to just have your peace of mind. You want to just enjoy life when you get back to Ghana. So you want to make sure you're not, in a state where you are going to the hospital all the time. So these are the 5 things that I would consider really thinking through, making strategic plans before moving to Ghana. Let me know if you found this video helpful. Be sure to drop a comment, and thank you for stopping by. As always, like, share, subscribe, and be kind. Be kind to one another because it makes a whole lot of difference. Be safe out there.